And welcome, dairy enthusiasts, to another exciting episode of the Bovine Podcast. I'm Bella, and with me is my co-host Douglas. Today, we're diving into the world of sustainable dairy farming and the innovative technologies shaping the industry's future.
That's right, Bella. We're about to explore how dairy farmers are becoming the real eco-warriors in the fight for sustainability. So grab your favorite dairy snack and let's get moving.
Nice one, Douglas. Before we dive in, let's remind our listeners that while we're passionate about dairy, we aim to present factual information. We encourage everyone to do their own research and make informed decisions.
Absolutely, Bella. Now let's start with a shocking revelation about plant-based alternatives that's been flying under the radar.
What's that, Douglas?
Well, it turns out that for every kilogram of trendy oat milk, 84% of the oat plant ends up as inedible sludge. That's a lot of waste for a product marketed as eco-friendly.
Wow, I had no idea. And what about other plant-based proteins?
Take Seitan, for example. This wheat-based protein leaves 90% of its crop to rot in the fields. It's a staggering amount of waste that most consumers aren't aware of.
That's certainly eye-opening. But how does this compare to dairy farming?
That's where things get interesting, Bella. While these plant-based alternatives are creating waste, our bovine buddies are actually helping to reduce it. Cows are nature's ultimate upcyclers, turning what we can't eat into nutritious food.
Can you give us an example, Douglas?
Certainly. For every kilogram of wheat in your bread, there's about 4 kilograms of straw, bran, and stalks left behind. Humans can't digest this, but cows can turn it into milk and meat. It's like nature's buy one, get 4 free deal, and cows are the couponers.
That's a great analogy. But surely critics would argue that a lot of cropland is still used to feed livestock, right?
That's a common misconception, Bella. While it's true that some cropland is used for livestock feed, it's not the whole story. In fact, 86% of livestock feed isn't food you'd ever see on your plate. It's mostly agricultural byproducts and grass from land that can't be used for crops.
Yes, that's fascinating, Douglas. It sounds like cows are playing a crucial role in our food system that goes beyond just producing milk and meat.
Exactly, Bella. Cows are helping to close the loop in our food system, turning what would otherwise be waste into valuable nutrition. It's a perfect example of a circular economy in action.
Speaking of circular economies, I understand some dairy farmers are taking this concept even further. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Some innovative dairy farmers are turning what many consider a problem, cow manure, into a solution. They're using biogas plants to turn manure into electricity.
That's incredible. How effective is this approach?
It's very effective, Bella. In Germany, for example, by 2025, 60% of dairies are expected to be running on biogas from cow manure. This is slashing carbon dioxide equivalent emissions by 111 tons per 1,000 cows. And get this, they're even selling excess energy back to the grid.
That's a win-win situation, reducing emissions and generating income at the same time.
Exactly, Bella. It's a perfect example of how dairy farming can be part of the solution to our environmental challenges.
This all sounds great, Douglas. But what about methane? We often hear about cow burps contributing to greenhouse gas emissions.
That's a great point, Bella. Methane is indeed a potent greenhouse gas, but there's more to the story. Unlike carbon dioxide, which can hang around in the atmosphere for centuries, methane breaks down in just 12 years.
That's interesting. So how does this affect dairy farming's impact on climate change?
Well, with stable herd sizes, the methane cycle reaches an equilibrium. The amount of methane breaking down equals the amount being produced, resulting in no net warming effect. It's like a cow-powered carbon-neutral system.
That's fascinating, Douglas. It seems like there's a lot more to sustainable farming than meets the eye.
Absolutely, Bella. And some farmers are taking it even further. For example, there's a carbon farming maverick in Wisconsin named Sarah Thompson, who's using high-tech rotational grazing to make her farm not just carbon neutral, but carbon negative.
Wow, that sounds impressive. Can you tell us more about how she does that?
Of course. Sarah uses a system of 12 paddocks, moving her cows every 24 hours. This allows the grass to regrow optimally, sequestering more carbon in the soil. By noon each day, her Jersey cows have mowed down 20 acres of clover, depositing natural fertilizer for next month's corn crop in the process.
That's incredible, Douglas. It sounds like dairy farming can be a powerful tool for fighting climate change when done right.
Exactly, Bella. And it's not just about the environment. These sustainable practices are often more profitable too. In Canada, for example, small herds with fewer than 200 cows are generating $8.23 billion annually.
That's a lot of cheddar. It seems like sustainable dairy farming is a win for farmers, consumers, and the planet. But I'm curious, are there any other technologies or practices that farmers are adopting to improve sustainability?
Absolutely, Bella. There's a whole world of precision agriculture and advanced monitoring systems that are revolutionizing dairy farming. For instance, many farmers are now using wearable sensors on their cows to track activity, temperature, and behavior.
That sounds like a Fitbit for cows. What kind of information do these sensors provide?
It's exactly like that, Bella. These sensors help with heat detection, calving prediction, and even early disease detection. Some farms are also using cameras, including thermal cameras, to monitor body condition and weight without having to handle the animals.
That's incredible. It must make managing a large herd much easier.
It does, and it's not just about convenience. These technologies allow farmers to make data-driven decisions that improve herd health and farm efficiency. But that's not all. There's also exciting progress in reducing methane emissions directly.
Oh, tell us more about that, Douglas.
Well, there's a feed additive called 3-NOP that's showing promising results. According to recent studies, the lowest proposed commercial dose can reduce methane emissions from dairy cows by 22 to 35%.
That's a significant reduction. Are there any other benefits?
Indeed, there are. Most trials showed that feed efficiency improved by at least 4%, with increased production of milk fat or milk protein. And these effects were consistent and long-lasting, with no sign of the cows adapting to reduce the effectiveness.
It sounds like these innovations could really help the industry address climate change concerns. Speaking of which, how is climate change affecting dairy farming?
That's a crucial question, Bella. Climate change is having significant impacts on dairy farming through heat stress on cows and changing weather patterns. Even small temperature increases can lead to noticeable milk yield losses.
That sounds challenging. How are farmers adapting?
Farmers are resilient, Bella. They're implementing improved ventilation systems, adjusting feeding schedules, and developing water conservation strategies. But it's not just individual farmers. The industry as a whole is responding too.
How so?
Well, for example, the Canadian dairy industry has set an ambitious goal of reaching net zero emissions by 2050. And despite these challenges, the outlook for the dairy sector in 2025 is cautiously optimistic, with margins expected to remain above the 5-year average.
Wrapping up. Well, folks, it seems like the dairy industry is facing some significant challenges from climate change, but it's also at the forefront of developing innovative solutions. From precision agriculture to feed additives that reduce methane, dairy farmers are proving that they're not just feeding the world, they're also working hard to protect it.
That's right, Bella. And it's important to remember that sustainable dairy farming isn't just about the environment. It's about balancing environmental needs with animal welfare and farmer livelihoods. It's a complex challenge, but as we've seen today, the dairy industry is stepping up to meet it head-on.
And that's all we have time for today, listeners. We hope this episode has given you a fresh perspective on dairy farming and sustainability. Remember, every time you enjoy a glass of milk or a slice of cheese, you're supporting a system that, when done right, can be a powerful force for good in our world.
Absolutely, Bella. So next time someone tries to argue that dairy farming isn't sustainable, you can confidently tell them about the incredible innovations happening in the industry. Thanks for tuning in to the Bovine Podcast. Until next time, keep those udders swinging and those milk tanks full.
Goodbye, everyone, and remember, stay motivated.